schools, active shooter, Noblesville School, stand by for further. Noblesville West, Noblesville West.
It's a day the Central Indiana community will always remember. Just after 9 a.m., a 13-year-old Noblesville West middle school student opened fire in a classroom, injuring a teacher and another student. 1 year later, RTV6 takes a look back at the events that unfolded that day and the changes to safety, mental health services, and the lives of those impacted.
Received another call from advising her son received a text from the suspect telling him not to come to school today. Her son is and his phone is in the social studies room upstairs in the 7th grade hallway.
You know, obviously it's the last call you ever want to get as a parent, so I just drove straight to Noblesville as fast as I could. But I just remember thinking I wanted my son back, you know, in my presence right now.
At this point, the school has been completely cleared and the investigative process has just begun.
Noblesville West Middle School, this still remains a crime scene. But the other big headline is the hero of this school. That is science teacher Jason Seaman.
Our science teacher immediately ran at him, swatted the gun out of his hand, and tackled him to the ground. Really, if it weren't for him, more of us would have been injured for sure. And who knows what would have happened if we could have been killed.
He was shot 3 times, once in the abdomen, once in the arm, and once in the hip.
When I heard it on the news that he was, somebody, the 7th grade science teacher tackled him, I said it had to be Jason. It just had to be.
13-year-old Ella Whistler is listed as stable, but faces a long road to recovery. We have just learned today she was shot 7 times, suffering critical injuries, including collapsed lungs, a broken neck vertebrae, nerve damage, and a severed vein.
Noblesville schools will have counselors throughout this entire week. They will also be available throughout the summer leading up to next school year. Support for them was visible right away. You see here at the high school, there were encouraging messages written in chalk for the students to see as they entered the building. Words like united and this message that says, "Thank you, Mr. Seaman."
Legislative leaders say they are reviewing state law as the result of the Noblesville case. House Speaker Brian Bosma confirms leaders are revisiting the part of the law pertaining to juveniles being charged as adults. He says it's important to take a thoughtful look at the criminal code and whether any changes to the law are appropriate.
It just feels good to be able to get out and do things too.
Are you excited to go back to school?
I am. I'm excited to go back the first day and just, kind of make things normal again.
We make sure that these schools and teachers and students have every resource conceivable. We have to make sure all the resources are there so that they can prevent and respond.
I really think the mental health issue is one that's incredibly important because personally I think the mental health issues are what's causing most of the problems that we're having.
Local school corporations, local communities are stepping forward and saying we want to make sure we got the safest school in the country.
This is neat because we have this opportunity to let the kids know we're here for them, and we're here for them exclusively to make sure they're safe and to be a resource for them. If they get questions, if they have problems, we're part of the staff, and so that's the best of both worlds.
Corey and Julia Whistler filed a civil lawsuit in Hamilton County Court last month. It's against the parents of the Noblesville school shooter. It's for damages alleging negligence and strict liability against the 13-year-old's parents. In May, a fellow student shot Ella in her classroom at Noblesville West Middle School. She still has multiple bullets lodged in her body. The lawsuit claims she may never fully recover and is seeking damages that would compensate Ella for losses as a result of the shooter's negligence. The 13-year-old admitted to the shooting and was ordered by a judge last month to serve time in a juvenile detention center until he's 18. That was the most severe punishment he could receive.
The important thing is that we have to be always alert and always aware of any potential threat, and we want to make sure that as we develop systemically the plan to make sure that our schools are safe and secure and properly equipped.
The officer's main goal every day is to walk the schools and be a resource for the staff and the students. Respond to any calls for service, whether that be smoking or vaping or a fight. They're there for that, but equally they're going to be trained and to how to interact with the students and to be a resource for them, not just to be there for discipline.
I want to make it clear that my actions on that day, in my mind, were the only acceptable actions I could have done given the circumstances. I deeply care for my students and their well-being. So that is why I did what I did that day.